So what we've talked about all along is this evolution of syndication and the data and where it goes and what it's doing, and so this move by Zillow and this move earlier by Trulia to go directly to MLSs to get data is a shot over our bow, that if we don't recognize it, shame on us. And so they don't want to be reliant on us for the data, and so they're going to go directly to the MLSs. They've announced they're going to do that. That's basically like saying, point two, we know one of your value propositions is taking the data from MLSs and giving it to us and not charging us for it. But, and that's good, we'll use that, but we want you to know that we're doing everything we can to destroy your value proposition. And once we don't need you anymore, it's been nice knowing you. That's exactly what's taking place. So it's time for us to go to market. It's time for us to utilize the resources we have, the notoriety we have, and take this message to the streets. The message begins with the data and the evolution of data. But where we are today, and we talked about this the other day, is we know there's value in the data. MLSs know there's value in the data. There is no value until there's a marketplace. You know, the old realtors and appraisers, market value, willing buyer, willing seller, neither under abnormal pressure to act, is a sale. Well, if you don't have a willing buyer at any particular price, if there's no market, you can't set the price. And so the conversations in real estate around the value of the data are premature. It hadn't evolved to the point where a market had been created so that value could be determined. But with Zillow going public, with Trulia raising money the way they raise money, what these companies are showing the real estate industry is there's a belief that this data is worth something, and people are willing to commit. Just about one of the number one things that human beings are willing to commit to anything, and that's money, and lots of it, to figuring out how to make commerce around this data. And we're in the middle of that. We're in the middle of the development of our data rights management platform. It's the right thing. We're talking about a technology fee. I think that we need to think about a strategy, who we're going to talk to first. You and I addressed this a little bit this morning, that we need to use this as a PR push away from the pack and say, okay, no, if you, did you see that violin guy? It rang in the thing and the violin guy played the violin?
Yeah.
So what we need to say is, okay, people, we know there's value because of, we don't know how much, but we know there is value because people are investing money to make commerce around this data. So we know there's value. Oh, foregone conclusion. Oh, everybody knew that. Yeah, not to the degree how much, and it's hard to charge for something if you don't know how much. And so for us, so what we did is we built an engine to make this happen. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go out to all of these people who want our data feed, your data feed, MLSs, and we're going to charge them a technology fee. This doesn't happen for free. This costs money. As a matter of fact, our business model to finance all of this was based on the sale of products, and the associations haven't been the greatest of promoters, and we haven't really sold a lot of products, and at the same time the evolution of syndication has taken place to where we can get people who use the commerce to pay for the technology required. Forget the value of the data, that's another step. And from this day forward, we're going to charge everybody X number of dollars in MLSs. We're going to give you the same percentage that we would give you if you sold websites for us. And we think that's the right thing to do, right? And it makes sense. Oh, by the way, if you want to opt your MLS out of, say, as an example, Zillow, you have the right to do that. If you want to go, if you think the data has value and you're willing to test the marketplace, call up Zillow and ask them what they're willing to pay for your information. And if you're not willing to sell it at that price, don't give it to them. But you have that power. You have that option. Now is the time to take control of your future. Now is not the time to give a data feed to Zillow, regardless of what story they might make up around it. So we know this. Zillow wants your data. They want it because they're going to make business around it. Trulia wants your data. If you decide that there's a value, then I would bet they would pay for it. Particularly if it's one of the easiest, most cost-effective ways for them to get the data. So what I'm suggesting is that we need to take this program of charging technology fees and use, it's the perfect time for us to go to the market and say we're going to charge for it, and we're going to, it's the first step in monetization.
I agree with charging for it, but there's a logic thread there that didn't work. The associations haven't been able to really sell enough product to generate revenue for us. So now we're going to charge a technology fee, and they're also going to give them money back for not doing anything.
It's not for not doing anything.
Okay, so wait. So that thread is still needs to be worked out. Now, if Zillow comes to you, Mr. MLS, and says they want a direct feed, first question is say, why? You're already getting a feed of all our data through point 2.
Well, they've already made that case.
Wait.
They've already, Zillow has made that case. So if you read the emails, that's exactly what Zillow's doing. But this, to me, isn't even a question about that, about giving them the ammunition to say no to Zillow. We will publish that say no to Zillow. We don't. And at the same time, we're walking this line where we still want them to take our feed. We still want it to be authoritative. And at the same time, there's other things going on in syndication where, and they're a publicly traded company, so they're not going to want to risk revenue to any great extent. We need to step forward, and this is the perfect time to announce data rights management and to start and to monetize, right, which we've been trying to do. Now, if your beef is giving the association something for nothing, I think that it's the fastest and easiest way, and it's not something for nothing. We'll waste a lot more time and energy in defending ourselves and getting approval, trying to say, no, you're just fight them off and we're not going to give you any piece of that. I think that the money we would relinquish will greatly diminish the staff time we have to put in and the bandwidth that we have to expend to get acceptance of this in the industry. Just to me, it's the easiest way to get acceptance. That's how we got acceptance kind of syndication in the first place, sharing the revenue. So we're moving down that path. It is a path where we want to take the next step with them. The next step is, let's figure out how much it's worth. You want to charge 2 cents a listing a month, and okay, we're going to create the platform that allows you to opt in, opt out, get people to pay, not pay. It goes back to the coming up with the value proposition. This is all part of what we're going to spend the next year talking about, right? So,
well, but I think that now we don't have a year now is the problem.
We have a year. We have 12 months from any day we choose.
But we don't. But this isn't with the threat from Zillow and Trulia right now is something we have to have done now.
No.
You don't think we have to have an answer?
No. No.
I don't think now we're going to be too late.
No. I think that if we begin this in the next month, we have plenty of time. They are not going to go out, and particularly since there are a couple things we can do to freeze the market. They are not going to run out. If they were easily convinced, you know this yourself, they'd have done it already. If they were easily convinced, they'd have done it already.
Who was easily convinced?
An MLS, that Zillow should have their data. In our case, that syndication, if they were the low-hanging fruit, they're gotten.
Well, I think that there's 2 other aspects of it. One is that they're not going to; these MLS are not going to jump because Zillow's there, and they're going to immediately just start giving.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not going to happen. So I understand that. The larger MLSs, the Houston and Chicago, I know are already saying to Zillow it's going to cost you X dollars for a data feed. They already do it. I don't know if MRIS does that or not. I know those 2 do. So this goes to the listing rights management argument that I think needs to go out soon, because I think that the Dallases, the...
Oh, no, so absolutely. This plays right up to, we're looking at February 14th, the week of February 14th, getting our marketing plan approved. And part of our marketing plan is this, which also means we have to describe how syndication fits into the lead, and we'll get into the presentation, which is what we want to work on. But the piece that hit me was, well, then how do we pay them the percentage? We pay it based on listing count.
Well,
Right. So which starts to condition the marketplace with this idea that there's actually a measure, a unit measure of content, of value, which is a listing. And we're gonna, if we get money for this, we're gonna pay you some percentage, and we're gonna pay you your proportionate share based on the content, which is the easiest way for us to measure it is per listing. And at this point.
I think that and I would agree, but I think that based on what you're saying, I still don't like the idea of a percentage of the technology fee going back to the association, because there's not enough there to be able to track it. There is, if we do say what we're going to get per listing and we add that immediately, then we can track that amount going back, and I think that's that's easier to do. I'll give you an example. So if we collect, say, $1,500 as a technology fee from 50 vendors, we add it up, it's $900,000 a year. Then we know we have 300 MLSs right now. So what percentage, so let's say we keep 50% for ourselves.
I didn't say,
yeah. Well, I'm just throwing out ideas. So I don't even say anything yet, but we got to get down to how we're going to do that. So dividing up the technology fee is not an easy thing to do based on content. Adding the fee onto it right away for data fee is much easier.
It's a piece of cake. It's no more difficult, and it's technology. Jesus, the first applications are spreadsheet applications that allow you to do mathematical calculations. That's all this is a mathematical calculation.
Well, I understand that, but okay, so you're Dallas, okay, and I'm Grand Cayman.
Yeah.
Okay? I have 33 members, Dallas has 10,000.
Not per member, it's per listing.
Okay, but wait a minute, not on the technology fee. The technology fee we weren't going to do per listing.
No, I'm just telling you, that's exactly what I want to do.
Okay.
I'm saying that a way to share the money at this first stage to make it more palatable.
Listen to what I'm saying. When the technology fee number, okay, the technology fee number doesn't equate to the listing numbers.
It can.
No, it can't. It's only $900,000. There's 700,000 listings.
It can. It can. Of course it can. It's mathematical. So here's say there's 1 million listings.
Okay, there's 1 million listings.
Okay. Let's say we were able to collect fees, and we collected $1 million in fees.
Okay, but wait a minute. That's not. We're collecting $1 million. We're collecting $900,000 in fees.
I'm telling you, whatever the number is, you can say, okay, how much money did you make? Right? And you can, first of all, you can come up with some mean number of listings, but how much money did you make? That's one of the variables you need. How many listings did your MLS over the year, the average over the year, contribute in that number of listings? To the total number of listings. Whatever that percentage is, you get that percentage at 20%. To me, when I saw that, that was the perfect, easy way to give an appropriate, measurable amount.
On a data fee, I agree.
Well, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking
on the technology fee.
No, the technology fee.
You want to do technology fee based on volume of listings, and I'm saying that is not the form that those two are different.
You don't get it.
I get it. Don't say that.
You don't get it. You can do the same. You can do the same thing for both.
But then we're not going to get any revenue from our side of it.
Jesus Christ! Well, everybody.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so millions. If you collect $1 million. $1
million. Okay, and you have 1 million listings.
Forget it for you. You collect $1 million in fees over the
technology
course of the year.
fee. Yeah.
And you collect $1 million, and you have 1 million listings, right? 1 million listings. That means each listing generated $1. Each listing generated $1, right? 1 million listings. Now, of the 1 million listings, let's say made $1 million. We're going to take 20%, or $200,000, and divide it up amongst the MLSs. They're going to get whatever their ratio of their listings to the total listings. If somebody had 100,000 listings of the 1 million listings, 10%, they would get $20,000. If somebody had 50,000 of the 1 million listings, that's what, 20%.
Okay.
Or 5%. They would get, right? So it's just the ratio, the number of listings divided into, right, the number of the amount of money, your percentage. So it's your listings over, it's the same formula you would use
Well, I know
over
that.
total listings.
I'm not able to make my point, so I guess we'll have to go with
No, but so whatever your listings are over the total listings, that ratio is the ratio of the money that we allocate. Now, what happens to the other 800,000? That's ours. We kept that. And we took 20,000 and we divided it up based on the average listing count calculated over the year, divided by the total listings. That's the percentage that they contributed to the total number of listings we had to syndicate. And so it's exactly the same. Although you could charge you can do it per listing. This is just a way to take that technology fee and give a percentage and then make it. Now, how much does it equate to? I think if you took it down to an association that had 100, it still might be a couple $100 a year.
If that, yeah.
Which is something to them. And to somebody like Houston, it might not be a lot. It might be 15,000 a year, 17. That might be fine for them. Now use somebody that size. We don't have them, right?
No, we do a couple that size though. We have Real Comp, we have Dallas, we have Florida, we have Miami.
So I think that you could create, the trick is creating the average number of your listing contribution, because it's not static over the year. It varies from month to month. So coming up with an average contribution, right? Every month could be a different listing count. New listings come in, other listings go off the market. You might have contributed 8,950 listings this month, but you only contributed 7,635 listings the next month. But you could do an average. Take the average number of listings, divide it by the average total number of listings. Whatever that ratio is for you, you get that percentage of the, if we give 10% for websites, for doing nothing, we give them 10%. And then we get away from this argument that's going to come up that we're making money off the data. No, we're not making money off the data. It's a technology fee, and we share that back with you. And yes, we believe there's value in the data, but we ain't got there yet. The evolution of the distribution is just now getting to the point where we can start to talk about listing rights management. And we will talk about that, and then you'll be able to see how the marketplace evolves, how successful Zillow is, how successful Trulia is, how successful these companies are in utilizing the data to make commerce, and we're going to help figure out a way to earn money off that commerce. That's what our platform can do. And it can do a lot of other things. But right now, it's a perfect candidate for MLSs, and if we start to offer something, so I think it's back to that, we want to take the industry insider position. We're your friend. We're here. We've been with you. We understand. We understand AEs. You're going to have to fight a battle because you're going to have people sitting at that board of directors, Charles Jolly, right, who are going to fight you tooth and nail and are going to say you're not getting anything, and the association should be getting stuff, and there's value, and all not based on anything. We're here to help you do that. We'll come in, we'll speak to your board of directors, we'll do presentations, we'll explain how this works and how the industry is evolving. And don't forget, yeah, you're a great percentage of your membership are franchises, but what's still, and we should look this statistic up, is it like over half of the membership of NAR offices of less than 5 people? They're tiny mom and pop deals. And those people, you need to help them weigh their value proposition. What do they get out of syndication? And what do they lose if they don't? And is anybody telling them that? So part of our sales and marketing strategy is to take this message to the market, because we're going to monetize syndication. That's where we are. We're going to monetize syndication. And we want to do it in a way that creates the least amount of backwash. And I just think offering, and so talk to some of the AEs, you know. Talk to Jim Lane.
I can
talk to whoever.
A bunch of them, but
And so I don't think they would, I think that they would agree it's better to cut them in than not to.
better to
Cut the MLSs in the associations.
Well, and again, my whole idea on the technology fee side was that was our revenue, and then on the data fee that we would add to that, that is what we would give back to the association.
Yeah, but I think that's a harder sell than saying we're going to take the bulk of the upfront fee. We're going to take the upfront fee. We're going to pay you on that, and we're also going to get part of the data when we help you with that. I think that's an easier sell than saying we're going to keep all the upfront fee. Because all we're going to do if we want to change it is adjust the price, right? Oh, we're giving away, on average, we're giving away $250. Okay, let's raise the price to $2,750. Covers that.
Okay, so do you want for this sales presentation a proposal to do what you just talked about? Do you want this done in there?
Yeah, we'll have it in there before.
Well, I'm just asking, do you want it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah,
to get that.
we'll have it in there. We'll have it in there sufficient for what we need, right? So that's a piece that has to go in there.
That's what I thought.
Right?
That was the piece.
Another piece. Now you talk to CAR. We ought to put in the presentation too. Rent grow. And
well,
question mark on that. We'll put this in the presentation. It brings us an opportunity to bring that forward and get an answer on moving forward. We want to move forward on this here. Well, how much business do you think you'll do?
Yeah, well, yeah, 'cause it's like I feel we're constantly fighting within our own network. It's
That's why we have to go up there.
Yeah.
That's why we have to convince Anna of the fact, and Gordon, that we are passionate about what we believe the direction of the entity point to is. And that's what they're paying us to tell them, and this is what we know, and this is what we're set up to do, and this is what we took 3.5 years to build, and now we've got that, we've got it, and we happen to be in the center of the distribution, and this is software, and this is intellectual property that has value, and we think it's the common thing in the real estate industry. Why would Realtor.com spend all that money on it if it weren't? It is, and we need more of your attention to do this, or either that, or you have to give us a little bit more free rein. And one way to do that is to approve this broad marketing plan that we're giving you today. But they have to feel that we believe that we can do it. They have to feel that we're passionate about this, right? That's the drill around all the other circumstances, right? The cat thing.
Well, I understand that, and I don't think. Well, yeah. I think we've shown them how passionate, but it's they get back to the product and where.
No, see, we haven't really said to them, we don't have the tools we need to do the job. We haven't really said that to them. Because we knew that we didn't have the product to sell. And if you didn't have the product to sell, getting the tools right away is a mistake.
Which is why he didn't approve anything.
Which is why he didn't approve everything. Now, he didn't say stop selling. And he didn't say stop using your discretion to make purchases within your realm of authority. He didn't say don't do that, but he did say we're not approving any long-range plan until we have a product ready, which really plays into what we want anyway.
The idea and what I think we have to sell them on is also the current products we're going to have ready in May are still not going to be like these major revenue generators. This data is a major revenue generator. And getting some of these things done, getting the other piece are going to be major revenue generators.
All of these things will give us revenue to help sustain us through the R&D period on this new product line. Because other than that, most companies have to fund their building of their products without having a revenue stream to do that. So, so we want to lay out the product lines, and we'll do this in the presentation. What are the products that we want to take to market? How is the money that we spend in the different venues? How does it bring benefit back to us? What are the phases? Why do we need this money to do these different things? Because it's more than just getting the person and selling them something. You got to teach them to use it. You got to get them to want to stay with you. If you don't have an apparatus set up to do that, then your business is much more difficult because you're always having to get new customers. At the same time, you have to recognize that you do have to always get new customers because of the churn in the industry. Just the natural churn of things means you got to always be going out.